Okay, I am finally ready to fly after being rebooked and being rerouted. But hey, that's our new normal. And I'm gonna take you guys with me through the journey, pre-booking all of the pre-arrangements that you need to do, boarding, arriving, whatever, hotel quarantine, all the tests and the sambais, and everything that you need to know. So I hope this helps. Okay, I am currently having my meal. I arrived 4 hours, no, a little less than 4 hours before my check-in time because today is the UAE National Day and it can get really traffic because of the parades and everything. Devastating news just an hour ago, IATF, or the Interagency Task Force Philippines for COVID-19, just released another shocking protocols or guidelines for all passengers, international passengers arriving at any port of entry. So whether you're arriving in Naiya, Clark, or whatever, passengers are required to now quarantine for 14 days. That will be 5 days facility-based quarantine. So you have to book with a DOT accredited hotel, quarantine hotel. On your 5th day, you will get swabbed, and then even if your results come out negative, you still have to do quarantine, home-based quarantine for the next remaining days. So to complete your 14th day. So just imagine that. I think that's one of the most frustrating things when traveling to the Philippines or with this task force is that they come up, they release a statement. For example, the other day they released a statement that they have suspended all quarantine and testing protocols for all green list and yellow list countries, and this is applicable until the 15th of December. And the following day they released another statement, just the following day after they released a statement saying that it's going to be until the 15th of December. The following statement was that now even green list and yellow list countries have to quarantine for 3 days plus another PCR test when they arrive. And lo and behold, the next day we received this news. So it's immediate effect. So we of course appreciate how they're trying their best to protect the country. We are not the most funded country when it comes to healthcare system, or we do not have the best COVID-19 response, both from the government and from the individuals. But I think there could be better ways of announcing protocols instead of doing it. They announce it around past 12 midnight Philippine time, and it's going to be effective the same day. So that's just mind-blowing. Imagine those people who are on air right now, like my parents. Get organized, IATF. So here I was just showing that I am flying with Emirates, and they handed us this cute squeezable hand sanitizer and then a pouch with a brand new face mask. They still have the same, like the blanket, the headphones, and the pillow. And then over here they handed us 2 forms, which is the Bureau of Customs form and the arrival card that will sum up all of the details about your travel. When was the last time you were in the Philippines? How long are you staying there now? Your employment status, your personal details, contact number, addresses, etc. Whereas the Bureau of Customs form would just ask, what are you bringing? Is there anything in excessive amount that is used to or will be used for sale? Or are you handling cash more than $50,000? So all of those very common things that we will be presenting later when we land at the airport. Emirates Airlines never disappoint with their food, so this is our breakfast. We were served with Danish wild blueberry pastry, and it came with cherry yogurt that I didn't really have because I have low lactose tolerance, and then coffee, of course. And then look at this amazing view of the sky. I mean, I was just literally in cloud nine. Okay, so we have finally arrived at Clark International Airport, and what they're doing at the moment is they're separating the OFWs from the non-OFWs, and I think the next step would be taking them to the DOT counter to confirm all of the pre-registrations and the documents that were needed to be completed before arriving in the Philippines. So I'll keep you posted. Hey guys, I am on my second day of quarantine, and yes, I am gonna do this part of this video with toothpaste on my face, on my pimples specifically, because imagine I was on an 8-hour flight, 8-hour plus, and then I was at the airport for 4 hours, so around 12 to 13 hours with my masks completely on the whole time. So what else would you expect? Mask me. So first and foremost, I would like to thank MPQ Travel and Tourism, specifically Miss Malu herself and their whole team for being so patient with me from day 0 of when I messaged her and said, Miss Malu, I really want to go home for the holiday season. I haven't spent Christmas and New Year in the Philippines for the past 18 years, and I think it's just, the best time to do it. And of course, I would like to surprise my partner. From the very beginning, they were very transparent. They advised me not to book. It's too early and the rates are very, very high. We'll let you know once it's the best time for you to do it. And they did. And then I was originally booked for December 1st with Philippine Airlines, but again, MPQ Travel and Tourism and Miss Malu were very helpful, and they didn't want me to face the problem of getting rerouted last minute because of the guidelines for COVID with under IATF, wherein instead of you being or landing directly in Manila, you would either be rerouted to Davao, Cebu, Subic, and luckily they got to reschedule my flight December 3rd under with Emirates Airlines, and I would just land at Clark International Airport, so I wouldn't have to bear the uncertainty of, do I have to quarantine in all of those provinces, and this is the closest to Manila, so I'm very thankful for them. Again, thank you very much. If you are like me, I love DIYing all my travels, all my hotel bookings, but of course it's COVID, it's different, and it would be best to have some security and guidance from experts. So I really highly recommend MPQ Travel and Tourism if you are planning to travel anytime soon. So let's first go on with a pre-flight. I will first tell you all of the documents that you would have to prepare: your vaccination certificate, negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours before your departure, confirmed hotel booking reference, PadLab QR code, and one Health Pass QR code. Now let's go through the process. Do not download or print your vaccination certificate super early. I just tested out the QR code. It actually expires, so I downloaded my first vaccination certificate a month before my flight, and when I tested it a week before my flight, I found out that the QR code actually expires, and you would see that on the left hand side of your certificate. So what I would advise you is to download it just 24 hours or a day before your flight, so that the QR code would work just in case they scan it, but they didn't scan mine. And the QR code would lead them directly to the Hosn app, which will reflect that you are fully vaccinated. Or second would be your hotel booking. Make sure that you check if it is DOT accredited. So a month ago, the original quarantine period would be 5 days hotel based plus 5 days home based. So I already had one booked, and then weeks before my flight I said, I would just cancel it because now we're under green list, so we wouldn't have to quarantine. Again, Funny enough, there had been some changes in the past 3 days, 3 different regulations, surprisingly. So just make sure that the hotel that you will be booking is an accredited hotel under the Department of Tourism in the area of where you are arriving. So originally, I booked another hotel in Manila, thinking it would be okay to land in Clark International Airport and check in Manila. But unfortunately, that is not allowed. So you really have to book the hotel that is within the area of the airport that you will be landing in. So if it's in Cebu, it has been Cebu, in Davao, Subic, Clark. Okay. Third would be negative RT-PCR test taken 72 hours before your departure. So do not count from your to your arrival and from when you got your results. Remember, taken 72 hours. So the moment your nose got swabbed, that's when you start counting the time before your departure. All right. So my flight was December 3rd. I got my PCR test on December 1st in the morning so that I could receive my result December 2nd the next day, which would lead me to the next point of applying for your One Health Pass. The reason being why you only apply it 24 hours, as early as 24 hours before your flight date or before your departure, is because you have to upload 2 important documents, which are your vaccination certificate and your valid negative PCR test taken within 72 hours before your departure. And then check according to the international airport where you will be arriving whether you have to register on Red Cross or on PadLab. Since I landed in Clark International Airport, I had to pre-register under PadLab for your swab test. And once you do that, you will receive your QR code for both so you will receive one from One Health Pass once you've completed the form. And then once you register for PadLab, you will also receive a QR code that the people who will be assigned in taking your PCR test would scan. I registered that I wanted to receive my results after 12 hours. You have options for 48, 24, 12. Obviously, it will be more expensive if you register with wanting to receive it sooner. So that's the complete process. Again, vaccination certificate, confirmed hotel booking with a DOT accredited quarantine facility, your negative PCR test taken within 72 hours before your departure, register on PadLab, and register for your One Health Pass, which will both generate a QR code that you have to save or print. Now let's get on to the Dubai airport. So you would need to present all of the things that I have mentioned. So I had the thinking that all of those things will only be presented in the Philippines airport, but actually, once they know that you are flying to the Philippines, they would already ask for all the requirements, so that they also would advise you if in case you're missing any document. Now, during the flight, I've already shown you the 2 forms that you have to fill out earlier. So it's just the Bureau of Customs form and your personal information form. During the arrival, so what they do is actually they separate the people into 2 crowds, OFWs and non-OFWs plus foreign nationals. Why? Because the OFWs would have to present their OEC, their OWA documents, and all of those things, and all of their quarantine facilities, their transportation going there, and their RT-PCR tests are all provided or is free of charge. Of course, our OFWs deserve that. On my part of the line, because I'm not registered as an OFW, we are assigned under the DOT or Department of Tourism booth, where there are different personnel waiting for you. They would ask for the same documents and then head you to the next step, and they would actually tag you with which hotel you are going to. So after that, it's really it's not super smooth. It's not a super smooth process. Of course, we have to also understand that these people at the airport are also taking the regulations as they are announced. They don't know all of these in advance.
they also just know it the same time that we hear the announcements. So we have to be patient with them as well. They don't know everything and they are not in control of everything. Please let us be nice and be kind to all of these people. They are working very, very hard. Once we are done with that process, they take all your documents. They lead you to the immigration. Same old process, present your passport, present the personal information form, the brown and white paper that you filled out during your flight, and then you're done, and then you go collect your baggages from the baggage counter, which I showed earlier as well. They're very helpful too. And then after that, you just go through the Bureau of Customs. You just provide them with the Bureau of Customs form, and then if you are an OFW, you will be headed to the line of the OFWs where a bus is waiting for all of you. On my side of the line, I would have to wait for the DOT accredited cab waiting for me that will lead me straight to my hotel. And that is it. And a piece of advice, just bring all the documents that you can. You never know. Keep reading, keep researching. And yeah, if you have any questions, I will put all of them in writing in the description. And I hope this helps, and happy travels everyone. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I forgot to add, that's not the end yet. So I mentioned earlier when I was at the Dubai airport that the quarantine days is 14. But when we arrived in the Philippines, when we were waiting in line to get to the DOT booth or to the OFW booth, an official actually announced that the quarantine days is only 5 days. So your swab test will be taken on the 5th day, and you can expect the results the next day. So that's it really.